now I'm focusing on the rear door or window, the one that opens where you load your stuff into the truck bed. And here in front of me, it's sitting on my little mobile workbench. I'll show you what I'm going to do to put this in there. And in a previous section, I showed you that the window originally from the factory wasn't installed centered. It was kind of like over to one side. I already, before I even painted this thing, enlarged the opening, trimmed it out so that both sides have equal amount of material left, so I can push it left or right and center it, and we're going to do that right now. Okay? Let me move things around and then we're going to get going. Outside's really windy, so this is the rear door. It's all pretty beat up and old and whatnot. I have already used the scraper and removed, let's see if you can even see this, the weather stripping that goes around the edge here, that goes against the camper shell itself. I've already scraped that off, more or less removed the remnants of it. And then I bought this one here. This is Frost King from from Home Depot. Rubber foam self-stick weather stripping. The size is, it's 3/8 wide and 5/16 thick. It's a foam, and it says here on here somewhere, where does it say? Ideal for automotive and marine use. So that sold me on that product. Ultimately, I don't think there are really camper shells that are 100% waterproof. They always have some gaps and cracks and whatnot around the door and around the tailgate. I mean, if you go really fancy and spend $3 grand on a camper shell, maybe you get that done somehow. But this here, $600 plus restoration costs. My expectations are not that high. So I just want to make sure that the adhesive of my weather stripping is going to stick at least for a little while until the window is in the opening. So we're just going to use some isopropyl alcohol and rub the edge down one more time like that. Then we're going to rip one of those bags open. I have multiple packs of this because I'm going to use the same material for the side windows. I don't know if this is maybe overkill thickness wise, but it's going to get pulled into position and I don't care really. It just needs to stick and seal and make it somewhat waterproof. Alright, and we're just going to put it in the location where the old weather stripping was. So it's super windy outside, as you probably can hear, but it's not going to hold us back. So I'm going to line the edge of the camper shell up with the 2 jack stands, and then I'm just going to bring the door with the fresh weather stripping over, offer it up to the jack stands, and of course we're way too high. But the nice thing about my little cart here is it's a hydraulic lift table, so I can sit down as far as I like. So I I think I got it now. I have the door relatively centered and level with or parallel to the camper shell, and both sides of the outer frame sits roughly in the same location here in the corner, over here as well. So now pretty much what we're going to do is just leave it like that, grab a drill and put a couple holes through it, and then we're going to, I guess from the factory they come with pop rivets in there, which over the last 10 years has broken loose and damaged the aluminum and all that. What I'm going to do is just put some stainless steel bolts and nuts through there, and I'm still, you know, back and forth and back and forth. So here's this trim frame that goes in from the inside, and you see the holes in here. They are just for some sheet metal screws going into aluminum. And then here's one big hole. That's where you feed the wiring harness for the third brake light. Not installed yet, but this is all gonna happen here pretty soon. I'm gonna go on my bench vise. There's a little piece of an anvil at the back. I'm going to try to straighten this out. You know, from tightening the screws, this has been a little bent and warped. So I'm just going to tappity-tap straighten that out. Yeah, it sits pretty much in the center of the opening, and the door is in the center. And now we just polish this up a little bit, all this coated aluminum here to make it shine a little more. And then this end is almost done. Now we just have to get the other window going. All right, guys, later. Alright guys, so I figured we're gonna have a little bit change of scenery. Really nice weather today, sun is shining. We have to somewhat refurbish the the side windows still of the camper shell. Screen can only be replaced when the window is uninstalled, because the screen is, or the edge of the screen is covered up by the installation frame. And then at the same time you also got to make sure you clean the windows, because this section here that kind of slides behind the screen cannot be cleaned with a screen installed. So proper cleaning. I'm always just using an old wood chisel. I have a really nice set, and this here is just an old beater. It's nice and sharp, even though I use it for other things, and that seems to be cutting this foam stuff really nicely and get it off pretty quickly. So I have those little brass brushes that you can buy off of Amazon, like a pack of 100 or so, and it doesn't seem to scratch up the coating here on the aluminum all that much, and it rubs off the leftover foam pretty well. So now I'm trying to remove the rubber seal here underneath, and for that I put my two hydraulic jacks in there, and I'm just lifting one side off this wooden rail and the other one is still sitting on there. And now I just use a regular flat scraper and try to remove this foam strip under here without dropping the camper shell off the stand. So I tried a few different methods to get this foam strip off. Heating it, just scraping by hand, but the adhesive is pretty strong and the foam is pretty resistant. So I got my utility oscillating power tool thing out, and I just have a blade on there, no teeth, so it's not cutting into anything. It's nicely rounded off because I've used it so many times. So and this is the new foam strip that I installed. As you can see, I put two lines of foam strip, even different brands, because I couldn't get it any other way. There's probably some better stuff out there on the market that's thicker, denser, better adhesive and all that. I just bought it locally at an auto parts store, and the original was only 2 inches. I made it a little wider so it also spaces out the sides from the truck bed a little bit, because these edges here, they tend to rub on the paint if you are you know, not so lucky. So yeah, anyways, now we just need to put one here in the front of the camper shell, you know, this direction, under the new window right here. And then we're ready to slap this on the truck. I'm not putting the side windows in quite yet, just to save some weight. It's easier to lift it. So I ran to the hardware store and got the right size spline. This here is 0.12 and this one here was 0.14. 0.14 is a little thick for this line here, so just needed a little bit of thinner one. Now we're gonna try this one more time with sticking the thinner one in there. Remember, the tool has two different sides. One has a groove and one is rounded off. So to get it started, I use the one with the groove. All right. Yeah. Here, let's turn this up so we don't catch on the tailgate. Shouldn't be too heavy. Lily and I took it off. Whoa, hold on, stop it. Alright, better. Yeah, pretty good. Already there. We have already arrived. That was easy enough. Thanks, Tony. That's all it needed. Windows are already all restored with new screens and new. Need to do that on one of my windows. Yeah, guys, finally done with this thing. Now I'm just gonna put the clamps on, put the windows in, and we're done. Looks actually pretty good. I like the black on the dirty truck. Two-person job. Last thing that's missing is the third brake light. I just realized I don't have any kind of silicone sealant that I could use to glue the new third brake light in there. Oh well. Huh, I just realized there is an adhesive strip on there, so the only thing that I really have to seal up is the hole where the wiring goes through. Snip. I'm going to try to use trim stringer line to feed in here from the other side. That's relatively stiff, that stuff. Oh yeah, it's here, but it's not coming out. Great. Okay, I'm just gonna feed it through from here, cut off a piece. It's not that expensive. Or am I just gonna pull the entire spool through here to not have to cut it off? I guess that's what I'm gonna do. So tech tip of the day: if you need a wire snake for something automotive, short distance, and you know, thin, string trimmer line. Goodness, can't speak. And then some electric tape, a little bit of an overlap. Let's see if that's gonna hold it on. I'm just pulling off the old terminals here. Those were just crimp butt connectors, which is fine. It's inside a camper shell, so it doesn't get exposed to lots of rain. Alright, you guys check the light, okay? Alright guys, that's really it. All the windows are back in. We made up this plexiglass window in the front. We put a new third brake light in, cleaned it all up, painted it. What more can you do? There's new foam seals underneath. Now I could wash my truck, huh? The bottom, at least the bottom half. I will not know if my third brake light's working until I watch the video. but you guys know. And this adhesive strip that's under here kind of sucks, so I kind of have that feeling that I will have to deal with that one more time. No big deal, right? Alright, you guys take care. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you.